Da 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 da. It's me again. I made this whole video and for some reason it didn't pick up the sound, so I'm recording the sound as an extra track. The horse here is blue. The reason it's blue is that when I put this file on my fast computer, it was, the legs were inside out. So if you turn on this show, whatever it's called, I forget, but it's an overlay, show face orientation. The outside should be blue. Now what I've done here is I've imported, by copying and pasting, Twink's head into here from the other file. Remember that you have to have both files open before Control-C, Control-V will work on this. Now, Twink here has a big head, just like in real life. So I'm putting it more or less where it should be. Then I'm going to shrink it down using S. What? Oh, yeah, I forgot to click the I too. Click the I too so you don't lose its position. Then if you just type S, you can scale both of them. And put it more or less where you want. And I rotated it a little bit so I can get access to the throat latch. And scale it a little. I've always been told that the length of the head from the nose, come on, get up to that part, from the nose to the pole should be the same as the middle of the elbow, middle of the knee to the elbow joint. There you go. Yeah, this usually holds up, although Chewy, being a moose in disguise, was notably larger. So now that I've got all of these, you tweak it till the cows come home or anybody comes home. Make sure everything is lined up against that axis. So when you put the mirror modifier back on, it still works. Now, get rid of the blue, Fa. That's annoying. Thank you. Take that off. Face orientation. We don't need that. Hurts the eyes. Take it off. It's red on the inside. It should be red only on the inside, folks. There we go. Now my eyes aren't screaming. Okay, now what we want to do is combine all the pieces except the eyeball. So deselect the eyeball and select everything else. Now, I spent a morning before I did this video trying to find a quick and dirty way to do this, and I failed miserably. So we're just going to do it the plain old dirty way. Type Control-J with everything selected except the eye, and that will put it all together for you. Now, you've got all these parts, but they're not really that... Oh, save your file. Always save your file. But you see, they're not really attached. It's just faces going through other faces. You don't want that necessarily. So, you go into edit mode. Come on, Fa, edit mode. Select the whole thing. There you go. Go up to Mesh. Oh, face. Okay, face and intersect with a knife and click self-intersect. Click it, click it. There you go. Now, you'll notice it's put in all these weird triangles. Why? Not a clue. But it does that, and you'll have to deal with them sooner or later. So, what it also has done is wherever the faces meet, it's put a line so that if you pick one of those faces, you don't delete everything around it. Okay, now what did I do next? I don't know. Oh, yes, I cleaned it up. Go to Mesh, Clean Up, Merge by Distance. Merge by distance is your friend, and this will take a while, especially on a slow computer. I'm going to show you why in a minute. There you go. Look at all these vertices it took out. That's vertices you don't have to merge together by hand. Isn't that great? Now, I'm going to start putting things together. The first thing I want to do is get rid of faces we don't need. There's lots of ways to do this. You can select them and select a bunch of them like that. Like that. Come on, select a bunch of them. And I put my shortcuts back in this. It made my life so much easier. What did I do then? Oh, I took those out. Come on. I click Control and select, and it will usually select everything between your starting point and where you hit Control click. Usually. Now you're left, you see, with this weird line. Where am I and what am I doing? I don't know. Oh, there. Now getting rid of more extra faces. There you go. Take it out. Come on. And what you're left with, or am I still futzing around with extra faces? Who knows? I'll futz around with them till I die. And you guys die of boredom. But anyway, you see you're left with all these weird little cracks all over the place. What you want to do is get rid of those cracks. Will you stop that? Jeez. Some people are so picky. What you want to do is you want to keep as many of your rectangles as possible, or quads they're called, because when you animate things and pose things, Blender really prefers quads. Unity and everybody else prefers tries. Blender wants quads, so we give it quads. Now here's all my shortcuts I made, and I have literally used dissolve edges, the backslash for dissolve edges, until I wore out the key on a good Cherry keyboard, which was terrible. Now I'm going to take all of these vertices we've got here and merge them into some kind of normalcy. You click one, shift click the last one, type M, Fa. Are you listening to type M? And you want to select at last. So you can type ML if you want. Merge to last. At last. And yeah, that's going to give a funky polygon, and we can deal with it some other day. But this is what you'll need to do, is go around, all around these edges. Sorry about that. And you can see I got it straight, and I also added the seam. Add your seams now. You're going to thank yourself later. Okay, so now we're going to do, what are we going to do? Oh, add a seam all the way around the middle. This is a really good seam to have. And now we have to go to the back leg, and the back leg is going to present problems of its own. So here I've already gone ahead and gotten rid of a bunch of faces, and see I've got these weird little vertices hanging around in the middle of nowhere. The way you get, oh yeah, and screencast keys, even though it's on, you have to turn it off and turn it on again sometimes, otherwise I don't know I've got it. Anyway, what you do is, I have an equal sign as my delete that vertices thing. If you just hold that down and then click on vertices you don't want, it'll take vertices and all the faces and all the lines connected to that vertex with it. Now here, as you can see, we've got bizarreness. So I keep taking, what am I doing? If anybody knows what I'm doing, please let me know. Anyway, you can get rid of everything that's sticking out by go clean up, delete loose, and all of your stray vertices are gone. Isn't that wonderful? But these don't exactly fit. So what I'm going to do is go to Face, click on that, Control click over there, take those faces out. Eventually what I'm going to do is fill these all in with new faces, because none of these are really right. And I'm going to take out this one bottom line because it curves in too much and I think it's ugly. Come on, take it out, take it out. The whole thing, come on. Let's go. Now, when another thing. You can take out this stuff in the back, but be careful how much you take out. You're going to want to know where that back edge was. Now I've got way more lines than I need here, but they're easy enough to get rid of. Just select them and Alt whatever your... Will you turn those screencast keys on before I have a fit? Anyway, you select two lines and you press F. Yes, turn them back on again. There you go. Press F and that creates a face. Press F and that creates a face. And you can do it, or you can make it easier on yourself. Select everything where you want a face, make a face, get your knife out, and cut it in half or in whatever it needs. Now remember, once again, we're trying to keep those quads, so here we go. They're funky quads. They don't have to be a rectangle. They could be a rhombus or a trapezoid or whatever floats your boat. And just keep on doing this until you die of boredom or you get a result that you like. Anyway, you can see what I'm doing. I will finish the rest later because this is gonna take some jiggery pokery, so we'll do it later. Oh, yeah, if you've got a hole in the middle and you want to fill the whole thing with a face, just Alt, select, type F, and you've got a whole face. But you've got all these extra lines. What are you going to do with all these extra lines? Well, you can draw more lines because, hey, you could also take out some of the lines you've already got in and just tell it, use a loop cut and put a line there. And let me tell you, you'll get some really funky loops. Now this thing here has become a pentagon of sorts. We're going to have to deal with that later, but now I'm going to start working on the head. And let's see if we can't make this any less boring. First off, take off and everything up to the back of the head. There you go. And everything that was at the front of the neck. Okay, so see how here... Hey, will you stop that? See how here we've got this neck is so much wider than the head? Well, yeah, it ought to be. So first I'm going to get rid of the rest of the back of the head. And some of these necklines as well. Because this is another place where we're going to add new faces. And yeah, every horse I've done, and there have been a few dozen of them, I've done this way. Here's another problem. If you go to Alt select a whole row, it will stop whenever it gets to anything that isn't a rectangle or a quadrangle. So just get rid of them. Make it happy. You'll have a bunch on the bottom. Get rid of those two. You can try tries to quads, but as you see here, it really didn't do anything. And I found that a lot of the time, it doesn't do anything. And you can change all of these settings and it doesn't care. So you just gotta go in and do it by hand. I wish they'd fix that. But anyway, you can see how that goes. Now I'm going to take some of these out. Take them out. My poor computer in here, in the recording studio, is going, I don't have the oomph for this. And there we go. I'm not going to
This is not very
more
artistic,
of this boring tedium.
Save
in the
your
next
file.
video, we will really get to the artistic part because we're going to get into sculpting. That's where all the good things happen. See you later. Bye-bye.